Hi. With so much of our marketing automated these days, how do you become really personal? I'm going to show you how to get very personal with your market today using video. The video I'm referring to isn't the one that you're watching now. I made this for you and for many others. I want to talk about using video for just one person. You wouldn't go to the production effort that we've gone to for today's show, clearly, when you're making one video. But I want to talk about personalisation. Let me first mount the case for why personalisation is really important. Again, it's really that we're sending so much of our marketing in an automated sense. Sometimes you need to be very personal, very unique. Think about the circumstances. One might be that you've got a prospect and you want to show them that you've done your homework. That would be one reason. One might be a current customer where you just need to show them something, how to do something. I'm about to do one of those shortly after making this video for one of our customers. Might also be, and I had a case of this last week, might also be you need to apologise. I had a case with a great customer. We had done something wrong, at least in their eyes. Kind of didn't matter whether we were right or we were wrong. In their eyes, we had absolutely erred, and I needed to be very clear that that was regrettable and what the plan was to fix that. So sometimes you've got to do a mea culpa. Video is a great tool for that as well, or a great channel for that as well, because you can be very clear the extent to which you mean it. You think about emails that you've written or you've read and how often they've been misinterpreted. It's so easy to misinterpret the written word. Even a written letter, a bit old school, but sometimes letters are nice. Even a letter often doesn't work. So what I want to talk about today is how to do very personalised videos. But I hope just now I've created a case that sometimes you want it to be very personal. Let me just remind you the use cases that I spoke about. Could be that you're talking to a prospect and you want to show that you've done your homework, you really understand them, things that they're trying to deal with, and you want to appeal very personally to earn the right to a meeting with a high quality target or high value target. That's one use case. The second use case was maybe you want to show somebody something. In that case, you'll be using only screen, not to camera like this. And the third one is maybe you just want to apologise or communicate a really important piece to a really important customer. It doesn't have to be an apology, but if it really matters, think about video. I'm going to show you how now. Now, I've talked about this before on the show. I've talked about what Miller Hyman, the sales training company, call the valid business reason, and doing that on video. So the valid business reason in English just means a very personal appeal to a prospect that explains to that prospect why they need to meet you, not why you want to meet them. So again, what's the prospect going to get out of the meeting? That's a VBR, or a valid business reason. And I've blogged quite a bit on that subject. That's a good use case. Now, if you're trying to appeal to a high value target, you've done your homework, you know what some of their issues are, maybe you've even had a few preparatory meetings with not the prospect, but somebody else who's coaching you. You've done your homework, and you need to convey very clearly, very simply, that you've done the homework and that there's a reason why they should meet. In that case, the technology you want to use is going to be your phone, whether that's a Samsung or an iPhone, a little microphone that's designed to be plugged into a phone, small techie thing. You want TRRS, that's tip, ring, sleeve. Just a little geeky moment here. Pull out your earphone and have a look at it. The one that you plug into your phone has got 4 bits of metal. It's the tip, ring and sleeve. Those 4 bits are needed for a typical phone, headphone and microphone that we use these days so often. The same is true of a just dedicated microphone that you might want to use in your camera. It needs to be a 4-post or TRRS, or tip, ring, sleeve. Go and talk to your audio shop, they know what I'm talking about. But it's a mic made for phones. So, little tripod that holds the phone. Think about the selfie sticks, they're very similar technology, that holds the phone, a dedicated microphone. Go and stand by an open window, say your thing. Do it in one shot. If it doesn't work, do it again from beginning to end. If that doesn't work, do it again from beginning to end. You don't need production technology. Then, where are you going to host that video? Remember, it's a one-time video. We quite like to use a thing called Postwire. What Postwire lets you do is to include that video along with here's a white paper that we wrote on a similar subject, here's our logo board, a few other things you might want to collect just for that prospect. And you'll put the video and these other pieces of collateral together on a dedicated page just for that customer, and the email or phone call or letter that says go read this stuff or listen to this stuff is pointing to a single page where you've got your video and all the other stuff. That's the first use case. The second use case I gave you was you want to show somebody something. Now, mostly that doesn't need, I won't call you ugly, but my ugly mug on the camera, it doesn't need your head on the camera. What it needs is probably what's on the screen. There are loads of screen capture technologies. We use Ice Cream, and what Ice Cream does is allows us to do a little bit of editing, but we also occasionally use a thing from Wistia, which is called Soapbox. Now you can use Soapbox for the other use case I just gave you as well, which was the VBR video. What Soapbox lets you do is, without having any technology, in fact you don't even have a piece of software on your PC, you'll actually have a Chrome plugin. You click the plugin, start recording using the camera on your PC, and then you can chop out the first and the last bit because they're normally pretty messy. You can decide whether to have your image or the screen or both, and you can section that. It's a free, currently at least, free plugin to Chrome called Soapbox from Wistia, and that's a great tool. Now if you're doing a screen capture, which is the second use case, you probably don't need your own image, but why not start with it? So using Soapbox, which is the Wistia plugin for Chrome, rather than Ice Cream, you don't need any other tools. What you do is you start it. The first little bit might be direct to camera and say, hey John, I promised I was going to show you how to do that thing. Here's how to do that thing. Keep going, you do the thing, and then you come back and say, hope that helped. Afterwards, when you uploaded it, it automatically uploads for you, by the way, you just make the first little bit showing your face, the last little bit showing your face, and maybe the bit in the middle can either not show your face at all, or it can show your face and the screen. You choose. Great little piece of technology. It's free. Soapbox was the first one from Wistia. I'm only really experimenting with that right now, but I do quite like it, and I've been using for some time a thing called Ice Cream, which is a great screen capture software. We've got the paid version so that we can record it to MP4, which suits our post-production for these blogs, this sort of thing. But you can go with a free one for Ice Cream, just limited formats that you can record to, and you can go with the other free tool, which was Soapbox. Now the third use case I gave you was an apology. Now it doesn't have to be an apology, but it's a very personal message. It's not really a sales message. I'll give you the real quick backstory. We had a client that believed we had done the wrong thing. Now, we didn't think that we had. It kind of didn't matter. Somebody had to swallow their pride. It was our turn, and I was perfectly happy to. Important customer, really liked the team. I wanted to be very personal in my communication with them. So I did a little video. In that case, I don't need it to be produced like the video I'm doing for you right now. We've got a team who does post-production and puts in all that lovely scripting stuff and top and tails. It needed to be personal. Why did I use a video rather than an email? This is a situation where the customer's nose was way out of joint. Again, whether that was fair or not fair doesn't matter. Sometimes somebody's got to step forward and say, I want to make this right. I want to fix this. And so in that particular case, my fear was that if I sent an email, no matter how carefully I crafted it, the chance was it got misinterpreted. Or it looked too crafted and didn't look genuine. If I did a letter, which was advice that I'd been given by a coach, maybe send a personal letter, because my client wasn't so much into technology, it was going to take too long. And again, I've got the same problem with the written word being open to misinterpretation. I wanted it to be personal. I wanted the client to know 100% I meant everything I said. So I did it to video. On that particular occasion, I used the Soapbox tool from Wistia. I used my PC camera, that was plenty good enough. I didn't even need to use my phone, which I often use for blogging. I just did it to the PC camera. It was fine. Production quality didn't matter. What mattered is he heard it straight from me, a little uninterrupted. Now imagine if instead I'd rung him. Angry customer. right? Feels like he needs to vent. I spend the first 7 minutes listening to the vent, and then my response sounds like it's just in response to the vent. I had the opportunity, it sounds really rude, but think about the intent here. I had the opportunity to say everything that I needed to say uninterrupted. Now, I know that sounds rude, but think about the use case. The story needed to be told in its entirety. It was only a 5-minute video, but it needed to be told uninterrupted. I think video is a great tool for that. Personal, he could see I was genuine. I meant every word I said. In case you're watching this, I meant every word I said, and he could tell that. No opportunity for misinterpretation. I could afford to be a little goofy and say, hey, somewhere along the line we've screwed up. You think this, we think this. It kind of doesn't matter. You're important to us. Here's what we're going to do. That was the message. I think video is a great tool, great channel, if you prefer that language, for very personal communication. So that's it. I've given you 3 use cases. I wanted you really to understand the power of personal video and a little bit of the technology that you can use. I've mentioned 3 tools. Let me remind you again. First one was Ice Cream. That's a great screen capture software. Whatever your PC or Mac supports, there's lots of screen capture softwares. I quite like Ice Cream, but choose your own. Second one was from Wistia. That's a thing called Soapbox. There's no software that you download. It's just a plugin to Chrome, and it lets you do the editing inside the plugin. Quite a cool piece of technology if you don't want too much production, and you don't need to add anything else. The third one I mentioned is Postwire. We like Postwire. It's a great way to have a, if you like, a curated library of stuff that you need to use. PDFs, web pages, videos, anything that you want to let the salespeople, in this case, I'm the CEO, but I'm acting as a salesperson, let the salesperson use. Stick it all into libraries in Postwire, then use select of those tools into an individual page where you can put the video and other things that you want, and you can even have a discussion within that page. Check all 3 of them out. I recommend all 3 of them for different reasons. As with every tactic, it needs to be used in context. I was talking just now about predominantly either sales or delivery tactics. What's gone on before that tactic and what goes on after it? So after, for example, they've watched the Postwire, is there a trigger campaign that immediately occurs after the Postwire watch? All sorts of clever things that you can do. You need all of these tactics to be thought about in their complete context. And you need the strategy to be clear. Who is my audience? What problem am I solving for that audience? With what solution am I solving that problem? All of that, those strategic questions, together with all of the tactics coming together, and that's where Funnel Plan comes in. Funnel Plan lets you work together, sales, marketing, finance, and ops, on building the strategy, then the velocity, then the tactics. I'm doing this because that's what it looks like on the page. Then the tactics that you're going to use end to end to earn the right to serve more customers. If you don't have a funnel plan, get a free one. Go here. Go to funnelplan.com. Get yourself a free one. If you're watching this on YouTube rather than on our website or LinkedIn or any of the other platforms that we promote this to, there's a little eye on your screen. Depending on whether you're on desktop or phone, it's in a different spot, but it's a little eye. You can click on that little eye and go straight to funnelplan.com, or frankly, just go to funnelplan.com, get yourself a free plan and start building with sales, marketing, finance, and ops. I hope you got value out of this week's show. I've got lots more lined up for you for next week, and until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing.